We've started.
Good morning, everyone. It's 10 a.m. and today is May 16th, 2024. We have an awesome workshop today on California disaster and emergency preparedness resources. We have our presenters here from Cal OES, Winston Lin, who's going to go over some incredible information about being ready for disasters, emergencies, getting prepared, and he's going to share with us a wide variety of resources that are out there. So as you can see here, there's a short agenda for what we're going to go over today: knowing the risks, alerts and warnings, personal preparedness, some useful links, and then after Winston gives his presentation, we're going to have some time for questions and answers, so you can have get some good one-on-one conversation going with him. You may notice that the chat has been disabled, and the reason that we did that is because we want to make sure that we are able to drop information into the chat. We would ask you to use the question and answers icon and use that to submit whatever questions you have, so that way we can help navigate you to the answers that you're looking for. So without any further wait, we're going to have Winston come on. Hello, Winston. Thank you again for joining us today.
Good morning. Hi.
So we're going to have you take control of the slides. So I'll stop sharing my screen.
All right.
And you should have the ability to share your screen.
Okay. Are you able to see the presentation okay?
Absolutely, Winston. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. So my name is Winston Lin. I'm a Senior Emergency Services Coordinator with the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services, more commonly known as Cal OES. And I'm going to be giving a presentation on disaster preparedness. So first off, Cal OES's mission. So Cal OES is a state-level department that serves as a coordination hub for major emergencies and disasters for the state of California. We support local government, who are often the first able to respond to community emergencies, and we act as an interface point for the U.S. government to provide federal assistance and resources to California. Primarily, we protect lives, property, and we build capabilities and support our communities for resilient California. For my presentation, I'm going to be discussing individual risk in the state of California, personal preparedness, property preparedness, and then providing some additional resources for you to look into for your enhanced individual preparedness and some volunteer opportunities as well. So first is to know the risks in your area, and that includes understanding your natural and human-caused hazards that may affect the area that you live in. It's important for you to be familiar with your city or county Office of Emergency Services. They would often have tailored information about the communities that you live in, your local hazards and the local concerns. They're also the ones that are going to respond first in the event of an emergency where you live. So they have the most familiarity with your location and the environmental considerations where you are. At the state level, we have Cal OES My Hazards web portal, which provides an interactive map that lets you look through the different types of hazards the state is tracking. And at the federal level, there's FEMA's Flood Check portal, where you can look at federal flood maps to see what your flood risks are for where you live. In terms of hazards in the state of California, we have quite a few. Our top ones are wildfire, floods, and earthquakes, but we're also susceptible to tsunamis, volcanoes, tornadoes, and power outages. You can see in some of the recent history, California commonly has fires. We do get winter storms, storms and flooding, some earthquakes, and of course, pandemic, COVID-19 occurred. In terms of personal preparedness, the state has a website, Listos California, where you can learn more about how to prepare for disasters. It includes content on how to make a plan to protect yourself and your people, how to pack a go kit with essentials in case of an evacuation, and how to build a stay box when you have to shelter in place. And the QR code to the right will take you to Listos California, and also have links for it at the end of this presentation. One of the more important parts of disaster preparedness is being able to hear about when a disaster has occurred and what protective actions you might take. And so we always encourage members of the general public to sign up for their county's wireless emergency alerts. That way, if evacuation order or something comes up that that you need to be concerned with, that you'll get text messages, emails, different forms of communication directly from the local jurisdiction that's going to be responding to the disaster and assisting you more directly. And so we have the Cal Alerts link here, and it's also on the QR code to the right. And if you go there, you should be able to find a link to your county's emergency notifications to sign up for it. In addition, because California does have earthquake risk, we partnered with UC Berkeley to create the MyShake app. It's an earthquake warning California program, and it will help notify you, hopefully in advance of when an earthquake would occur, so you can take protective action. And it's an application that runs on your smartphone. So we're going to talk about a couple of the different alerts and warnings, specifically the differences between an evacuation warning versus an evacuation order. So for an evacuation warning, it's given when there's impending danger to your life or property. You should assume an evacuation order will follow. Start gathering important items for your family and your pets. And any individuals who need extra time to evacuate, for example, if you have large animals that you have to pack and get ready to move, you should pack up and leave when a warning is issued. Evacuation order is a higher level. It's a lawful order to evacuate due to an immediate threat to life and property. In the event of an evacuation order, it's critical to follow all directions from law enforcement to ensure you and your family evacuate safely. And as always, check with your city and county Office of Emergency Services for more information about evacuation warnings and evacuation orders. So as part of some of the content in Listos, California preparedness webpage, it's important to make a plan to prepare for disasters. First is to create a communications plan, and that should include those in and outside of the evacuation and shelter in place areas so that you know how to contact each other if you're separated or in different locations. It's also important to gather and organize your supplies. I'll talk more about some of the things that you should have to prepare for an emergency. You should designate at least 2 meeting places in case you or your family becomes separated during a disaster, one outside your home away from any immediate dangers, and the other farther away outside the evacuation area. It's also important to identify multiple routes to evacuate from your community, and including checking with your local emergency managers or emergency alerts to get the most up-to-date information on road conditions and the directions you should be evacuating to. And also don't forget to include your pets when you come up with a preparedness plan. So in terms of documents that are important for you to prepare, it's important to store those documents in fire and water resistant storage containers or have a secure online cloud storage device or service that you can keep digital copies of essential documentation. So one of the things that you should have are photographs. It's important to take pictures of each other, including your pets, and be sure to take pictures of your property and valuables to help with insurance claims in case they are damaged or destroyed. Recent photographs of you and your family members can also assist responders in locating loved ones in case you become separated. Next is personal records. So have copies of personally identifiable information, such as driver's licenses, discharge paperwork, passports, birth, immigration, naturalization records, social security information, titles, deeds, automobile and boat registrations, and also have financial records. So keep records like insurance policies, tax information, pay stubs, wills, trusts, any kind of medical powers of attorney should also be part of your document preparation. So here are some of the basic supplies that you should have prepared. So for example, for water, you should have at least 1 gallon of water per person per day for at least 3 days, and that water is to cover drinking and sanitation. For food, also to have at least a 3-day supply of non-perishable food. And if you have canned foods, to make sure you have a can opener. Any kind of prescription medication, glasses, copies of prescriptions in case you're separated from your medication and you have to refill while evacuated. If you use a cell phone, make sure you have extra chargers and backup batteries in case there's no power so that you can extend the operation of your smartphone. First aid kits are also helpful, including personal hygiene products, garbage bags, um, any ways to kind of turn off your utilities, wrench or pliers, local paper maps of where you live, or for some smartphones, you can also download offline maps that will work if you are not connected to any kind of cell network. It's important to have cash for emergency purposes, as electronic payment may not be working. And of course, have sleeping bags or blankets for each person that you're planning for in your basic supplies. In terms of property preparedness, it's important to check and update your homeowners and properties insurance. If you live in a fire-prone area, you have to prepare to create some defensible space between where a fire could be and where your property and your home are. And I'll have more information later on from CAL FIRE for their Ready for Wildfire Preparedness tips. And Listos, California also has Wildfire Preparedness Toolkit. And finally, if you live in an area that's a tsunami zone or a flood zone, do you know where your high ground is and where you would likely have to evacuate to if a tsunami or flood were to occur? A little bit more detail about how to create a defensible space around your house to try to protect it from fire. So some advice includes keeping your gutters and your roof clear of fire or leaves and debris, maintaining a 5-foot non-combustible zone around your home or outside deck, breaking up fuels by creating space between plants and between the ground and the branches of trees, mowing grass so that it's a height of 4 inches, keeping mulch away from the house, and during a wildfire, moving anything burnable such as patio furnitures, barbecue tanks, gas tanks, at least 30 feet away from structures. And if you have more questions about how to create defensible space around your home or your property, remember to check with your local fire safe council. They'll have more information on how to do that. In terms of preparedness around your home, make sure to install and maintain smoke and carbon monoxide detectors on every level of your home. Brace and earthquake-proof your tall furniture to walls to avoid tipping. Make sure you have fire extinguishers and that they are serviceable. And consider purchasing a backup generator if your home or the area you live in is prone to power outages. It's important to know where your utility shutoffs are and how to turn them off. So for family preparedness, one of the programs that Cal OES has is Preparedness Ambassadors, which is a curriculum that's designed to engage fourth grade students to develop and promote disaster preparedness guidelines for their home, school, and local communities. Cal OES has also developed a family readiness guide to help families prepare for disasters in California, and that guide is available in multiple languages. Next, with summer starting to show up and then the heat starting to rise, it's important to be prepared for the heat as well. So heatreadycalifornia.com has information on how to prepare for extreme heat, has advice on how to stay informed about weather and what you should be doing to protect yourself, has information to assess individual risk of extreme heat, such as for older adults, people with chronic health conditions, and people with disabilities. And there's also strategies for staying cool during an extreme heat event. So remember to go to heatreadyca.gov, and the QR code is to the right. So some volunteer opportunities to kind of go above and beyond in terms of disaster preparedness and helping others. One is the American Red Cross. Another is community emergency response teams. There are communities that tend to have these kind of programs. So if you're interested, try to seek out if you have a local CERT program. That's a community emergency response team. AmeriCorps also has volunteer opportunities. The state's California Volunteers website also has opportunities for volunteering. And then the California State Guard also has opportunities for volunteering to assist the community. And here again are some of the useful links that I have mentioned throughout this presentation. For example, the Listos California to get general disaster preparedness information, wireless emergency alerts to sign up for local alerts from your county or city, Heat Ready California for information on how to prepare for heat, Cal Fire's Ready for Wildfire webpage to help give you advice on how to create defensible space around your property, the MyShake app for early notification about earthquakes, California Fire Safe Council, again, to talk about defensible space, FEMA's ready.gov webpage, which has information on individual preparedness at the federal level, and the Cal OES My Hazards webpage, which lets you look at maps to determine what kind of hazards are in your area. And that concludes my presentation. I don't know if we're taking questions now or we're saving them for the end.
No, we want to make sure that we open ourselves up to answer some questions now.
Okay. Are there any questions currently?
I'm not seeing any questions come in the chat right now. So if they do come in, I'll just have you jump back in but for now, I'm not seeing any questions come in. But if we have any come in, then we'll just have you jump back in.
Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you. It's a lot of great information. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everyone's patience while I share my screen and bring the presentation back to me here. Winston gave out a lot of awesome slides and updates about really having a plan, talking about volunteering and some of the apps and websites that were out there. And what I want to do is I want to make sure I talk a little bit about the California Department of Veteran Affairs, CalTAP, and just give you a basic overview of who we are and what we do. My name's Sean Campbell, and I'm a Navy veteran. Spent 8 years in the Navy as a hospital corpsman, and currently I work for the California Department of Veteran Affairs. And the organization I work with is called the CalTAP unit, which is inside of the Veteran Services Division. And our role is really just to reach out to veterans and their families and have that moment to inform and connect veterans of all eras. If you look at our Veterans Resource Guide, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second, but when you call those numbers, you'll speak to myself and my teammate Jennifer and other members of my team because we're here to help you and answer whatever questions you may have. This is just a snapshot of what it looks like. A lot of people are familiar with the federal VA and how they work, and then each state has its own state Department of Veteran Affairs. And in California, being that we're such a huge and dynamic place, we have 58 counties, and each of those counties has a county veteran service office. There's a couple counties that share an office, but and there's other counties that have several locations. But really, we just want to make sure you know that as a state, we put all of these organizations out there to maximize your accessibility to your benefits. And also, as you can see at the bottom of this tier scale, there's some civilian services, whether it's the Department of Veteran Affairs, Disabled Veterans of America, Swords to Plowshares, American Legion. There's a lot of other non-government service providers to answer questions and to help veterans. Again, this just shows you a snapshot of the federal VA and some of the things they do: Veterans Health Administration, Veterans Benefits Administration, and of course this National Cemetery Administration. And you can see in each column how they're dropped down and they cover different areas. And then on the right side of this slide, you can see the different programs from the California Department of Veteran Affairs. The California Transition Assistance Program, where I work at, home loans, because we want to make sure that people are having that question about buying a home answered. You can use your VA home loan and combine that with a CalVet home loan and really maximize your opportunities for purchasing and using all of those benefits that you've earned. We have a women's veterans program, a minorities veterans program, and when you start walking into that question of aging, we have a Veterans Homes of California. There's 8 different locations, and their role is just to make sure that when you're walking into your tomorrow, you have someplace that you can really enjoy that's veteran themed. When that moment comes that we do talk about our legacies, the state of California has a division for cemeteries and burials, so we can really honor the legacies that the veterans have set forward for us. And then you can also see some other programs that we work with: Veterans Housing and Homelessness Prevention, CSAVE, and of course the college tuition fee waiver program, which is a big one. And I'll talk a little bit about that more in a little bit. But again, I work with the CalTAP team in the Division of Veteran Services, and we really just want to make sure that we're supporting and connecting with everyone. We've kind of identified 5 pathways that we like to work with, and these are listed on your left: core curriculum, education, employment, entrepreneurship, and what the different service providers are that provide services for the veterans in our community. And those pathways just help us uh, navigate veterans towards the best services that are out there. This is a snapshot of our website, calvet.ca.gov. If you look to your left, you can see where you can create an account and really customize your benefits and services. In the upper right-hand side, if you're looking for the nearest county veteran service office near you, they've got the phone number, VA benefits hotline, crisis line, and then that number to the left, contact Calvet. You can see that rolls into us, so we can answer your questions and help you navigate. And then if you're interested in other information, you can see our landing page highlighted where it says CalTAP to navigate you towards those resources. And the veteran resource book is also down there as well. So there's a lot to explore on our website. The cool thing about it is it really does give you that 24/7 access to videos and PDFs. Here is the Veterans Resource Book, which is, as my teammates say, a bucket of benefits. It's just full of information to help you learn more about the different benefits you and your family have earned within the state of California and all the different resources that are out there for you. And it gives you some information on the federal side as well to help you navigate towards getting some, whether you're looking for phone numbers, locations, information, or there's also a digital version of this, and my teammate's going to drop that into the chat. Veteran life cycle map. This is just a flow chart so we can give you a visual representation of how we're trying to walk with you through your entire journey. Whether you're serving, separating, you're getting started into your civilian career, you're building up your your world around you by expanding your education, possibly buying a home, retiring, aging, and then of course that last step there. We just want to make sure that we were with you through that entire journey. What are my California benefits? What a great question. What are my California benefits? Well, the state of California has a lot of different benefits and programs for veterans and their families. One of the big ones that we talk about is the college tuition fee waiver. If the veteran has a disability rating of 0% or higher, then they may have the eligibility for their dependents to have their tuition waived if they're going to a California State community college, California State University. So that gives you a choice of like 130, 140 different learning institutions. And it's a program that saved veterans and their families millions of dollars every year. It's just a great program. Veterans designation on your driver's license. This enables you to have the veteran actually printed on your driver's license, so you don't have to take your DD 214 with you everywhere you go. Obviously, there's some places where they're going to want that document specifically, but many other locations, whether it be employers or maybe you're out shopping and spending your day, having that veteran designation might unlock a lot of benefits or discounts for you, and having it on your driver's license just makes it a lot, or your ID card just makes it a lot easier. Motor vehicle registration fee waiver. If you have a disability that's mobility related and it's rated at 100%, the state of California will waive the registration for one of your motor vehicles. And they recently started a program where they are waiving certain bridge fees as well. Reduced hunting and fishing licenses and no cost state parks pass. If you have a disability rating of 50% or higher, then the state of California will enable you to apply for reduced hunting and fishing licenses, which can be pretty affordable. Normally it's like under $10, and then the no cost state parks pass. In addition, California does have other programs as well for hunting and fishing, and for the state parks. I always encourage people to look into those because the state does put out free hunting days, and free fishing days at least twice per year. And the state's also started a program where if you're interested in going to a state park, if you don't have that 50% disability rating to get a no cost veteran state parks pass, you can explore going to the different libraries throughout the state and checking out a state parks pass. So that way you can enjoy that opportunity as well. Veterans tax exemptions. If you have a 100% disability rating, there are the county assessor's office has a program where they'll help you reduce your property taxes. Because there's so many different counties, I always encourage people to speak directly with their county assessor's office so they can figure out what exactly those numbers look like for you as an individual. So that way you can enjoy that exemption. On the right side of the screen, you'll see some of the different divisions within the California Department of Veteran Affairs. You've got the Home Loans Division, Women's Veterans Division, the Minorities Division, again, California Veterans Homes, and the Veterans Cemeteries and Burials Division. A lot that we do here in the state of California. We always want to reach out and talk to and work with the veterans. When you're communicating with us, we always prefer that you give us a non-DoD email address so we can continue that conversation later on. And then we've got a survey here, and my teammate's going to drop a copy of that survey into the chat. We always appreciate your feedback so we can live, learn, and grow, and make sure that we're providing webinars and information that is the most relevant and that you find the most interesting too. There's also a lot of social media platforms that we use, Facebook, Instagram. Come check us out. We're pretty cool. This is our contact information, that phone number there, and then you can see my direct email address. I'm happy to help you navigate through whatever questions you may have or explore whatever other benefits you may have questions about. There is one other program that I'd like to talk about for a couple minutes though, and that's going to be the local interagency network coordinators. So today we don't have one available to talk with us because pretty busy month for all of us, but there's actually 8 of them throughout the state. And their whole role is to really go out and provide that warm handshake. And what we mean by that is California is putting these resources and these people out to make sure that veterans are getting the services that they need. And if for whatever reason there's something slowing that process down, there's someone out there to help you and walk with you through that process. Cole, Kevin, Merlene, Calvin, Anthony, Lance, Ben, Annette, they're all great people, but also they're here for you to make sure that you get your needs met. So you can see the different color-coded regions. Their contact information's in there, and if you want a PDF version of this event afterwards, my teammate's going to drop one into the chat. But also, you can it'll be at the end of the program as well. You can see the list of where they're at. Veterans, service members, their families making referrals, emergencies and disasters are what we're talking about today, and the amount of services that they provide during emergencies and disasters is incredible. They'll go out to the disaster resource centers and they'll make sure that, because sometimes when things happen, people lose all their information. You've lost your DD-214, you've lost, maybe you had a home loan and a VA loan and you're trying to get through all the paperwork so you can help with your insurance, or maybe whatever it may be. The links are there during emergencies and disasters to help you walk through the whole process. And I've seen them spend weeks at a time at the disaster resource centers helping people out day after day. So they're really committed to making sure people not just survive emergencies, but thrive afterwards. So check them out. They're pretty cool. Some of the other things that they do is employment and training. They help you navigate through some of those state benefits. And if you got questions about healthcare, they can help you out with that as well. They really are the knowledge experts of the different resources and services in their individual areas. Here's a list, and I'll leave this up for a second so you can see which one really is working for you and for your area. And again, we have a full list on our website, calvet.ca.gov. Great group of people, great team. I want to make sure that we provide some time to answer some questions. And I know that my teammate Jennifer has been putting information into the chat so that way people can download those resources and navigate to them. I don't currently see any questions in the question and answer box. So
we don't have questions, but while we're waiting for questions to come in, let's put up our survey.
oh, That's a great idea. And then are you able to drop a copy of that survey into the chat?
Absolutely.
Right on. So we'll leave this up for a couple seconds, and then I want to make sure that we jump to showing some of the upcoming events that we have as well. Some of the upcoming virtual workshops that you're going to see on our roster is suicide prevention through early intervention, VA healthcare. We have a great event coming up on improving mental health. On the 16th of June, we have an event for creating a veteran-informed culture. And this is for people who really want to know more about what are veterans, compensation and pension. And then on the 27th of June, there's going to be an excellent webinar on how to use the CalVet home loan process with your VA home loan and really put those two together, maximize it. I believe our guest speaker for that's going to be Brad, who is just a phenomenal powerhouse of information when it comes to that kind of stuff. I want to make sure and leave our contact information up for a little bit, so that way if people have questions or they want to have a look back on this event, we can do that for them. And currently, the time I have is currently the time I have is 10:32. So although we've been plotted out an hour for this event, the information is really robust, but it's also very streamlined, and we're able to do it in 32 minutes. So I want to make sure that if that's the case, that we give you some of your day back today. So we will hold on this screen for about 3 minutes, and then we'll end the webinar if there's no more questions. Jennifer, did you have anything that you wanted to add to our viewers?
No, it looks like we hit it all. I did put in the chat for everybody the PDF of our presentation. I put in there another document that says all links from the CalTAP presentation. So you can download that document also. If you're having a hard time downloading or copying any of the things that I put in the chat, please send us an email at caltap@calvet.ca.gov, or you can just email me and I'll send you any and all the different resources that I put in that chat. I can send you the PDF, anything that you need, please reach out to us. We are very passionate about getting resources and benefits to you. And please visit also the Cal OES website. There's a lot of great information on there. Get acquainted with that just in case something does happen, so you know where to go to get assistance. The Cal OES website is very robust, so please check that out also.
And Winston, did you have anything that you wanted to add for the group, sir?
No, just thank you for having me and giving me an opportunity to share this information.
Thank you for being with us.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for being us, and thank you again, Jennifer, for navigating through all that information into the chat log for us. So it's currently 10:35, and what we'll do is I'll leave the survey up for a couple minutes, and then I will end the webinar. Thank you again for attending. Thank you to everyone for your service, and thank you for joining us for this event.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Winston. See you next time, everyone.